Now
Are we doing
it's
it live? Are we
live.
doing it live?
We're doing it live. Well, welcome everybody to a Pod of the Seven Kingdoms, live review of episode 3 of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, the episode called The Squire. I'm Bakibalboa.
I'm Beelock, and good show's good.
Good show is good.
Good show's
I
good.
I was very pleased with this.
I was watching it, and I'm like, Phil is eating this shit. I was like, man, this is great.
They are. It was. I won't. We'll obviously go sort of through it, but as like especially the back half of this episode, I was like, man, they are literally hitting every single thing on my wish list from the podcast. Like they are just checking boxes. It's as if they were listening. Ira, like, yeah, no, no, I was very pleased. Obviously a lot to talk about, and it's not, there's plenty to discuss, but the elephant in the room for those who are seeing this on YouTube, maybe live or the recorded version. Episode 2 was eaten by Oracle's TikTok gremlins.
Probably the best analysis we've ever done in our lives. I think it was gold standard, top tier, amazing analysis that no one will ever get to see.
And it was just
because TikTok is broken now.
It just doesn't work.
Well, I've seen even big creators, like really big, like millions of followers creators, talking about issues. Like there's one woman I follow who, like, her whole thing is she braids her hair cool, and she has like just very long, very pretty hair, and she does like really cool braids. And she was explaining, like, the last 4 videos she posted were getting like no views, and she got 4 content violations for unoriginal content when it was her doing hair braiding. She's like, this is the only thing I do is hair. Like, what do you mean it's unoriginal?
Right. So
I think she left TikTok entirely.
No, it's brutal. Yeah, the on this day strikes were new to me when it was like, this is a feature you have.
You
didn't
want me to do this. You told me.
You're presenting me with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, very strange.
I never monetize the talk, so I don't get like they don't care what I do, because all they do all day is be like, would you like to monetize? Yeah. Would you like to monetize? Have you considered monetizing? Would you like to sell things for TikTok Shop to people? And I'm like, no, please leave me alone. Yeah.
No, I'm actually good. Well, this was obviously, we missed it. Episode 2, our analysis, there was like a lot going on in episode 2. We won't rehash it all. But episode 3, we have reached now the midway point of this first season of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and I wanted to get just your sort of, I know I gave sort of some very, very surface level thoughts, but I wanted to get your vibes on this episode and how you felt about it.
I really enjoyed it. I think one thing we talked about last week was we liked last week's episode, just to be clear, but we both agreed there were pacing. It felt odd pacing wise. I thought the pacing for this was very good. It was slower, but in a good way. Like, we had time to like be with Egg and like have these conversations and like really explore this dialogue, and we still got to the important action we needed to do, which was the sad horsey death, and then whoopsie the liberal Cliffhanger, right? So like we got to our 2 kind of plot points in there. So I thought that was one thing I was like paying attention to, and I remember I checked about 20 minutes into the episode to see how far in we were, and I was like, oh, it's only been 20 minutes. Like, it felt like a lot had happened in like a good, like, this is a good example of pacing, I think, because pacing is hard to kind of nail down, and I think this is a good example of it.
For sure.
And we're halfway. I'm sorry, just one more thing. We're halfway through the season, and the reveal about Egg is in the book. It's on page 74. I think it's approximately halfway through the story as well. So I think they might be mapping
more or less, a
little bit. So the story's 118 pages. He is revealed in page 74. So it's a little bit more than halfway in the book, but they're very close in terms of like mapping the events.
And it is a tough version of the book to do page counts on, because it's like illustrations and other stuff. But yeah, so they are like more or less hitting the pacing of the story. I really did enjoy, as much as like there are certain very, very nerdy and like obsessive parts of my personality that would have loved like some more fleshing out and like a little bit more of the jousting and stuff like that to let it breathe a little bit of who is this guy getting landed on by his horse and all this sort of stuff. Like I thought that could have used like just a little I just wanted a little bit more. But overall I feel, you know, nothing ever felt like, okay, we get it, you know, on which I'm sure is part of their concern with this is like how many tilts do you show before people are like, okay, cool, I understand what's happening here.
I was kind of chanting at my TV like I was at a protest though when he came out. I was like, say his name, say his name.
Humphrey Harding, especially and I think in his case in particular, it's one of those where it's like he does become significant in the narrative, like in the book.
He may not in the show.
And that's the thing.
That is one thing is like, you know, as the preview has shown, so this is not a spoiler, like Dunk is going to have to go find some buds. And we need to have 6 named buds. And
gotta have the named buds.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't know what 6, I don't know if they're going to do the 6 in the book. They should. But we could have, you know, 3 of the named ones from the book and then 3, you know, red shirts that just kind of show up.
The walk-ons. Non-scholarship Joust.
And this is Stephen Targaryen.
I think no, it's a good call that they may switch up exactly like how it happens. And to reiterate for those joining live, we will not do any book spoilers in this podcast. We may hint at things or something like that, but we're not going to do any like overt spoilers for the books. So no worries if you're just watching the show. We're only going to spoil the show. So like up until the point. Like up until episode 3, like we're just going to spoil what's occurred on the show already. So this episode, I know there were videos going around today and I was quite enjoying like everybody bracing themselves for what is going to be in the first scene of episode 3, because we've had these sort of like very famous moments now that started a lot of discourse. Less discourse, I would say, probably about this one in particular. There was some business done by a horse, but that
happens.
We get a bit of a different start to this one where we get early to bed, early to rise. Egg goes off on a training montage with
he goes and plays Squire.
He
says, what if I was a Squire? And then he tries it. And I don't know where Dunk is. Dunk is like sleeping and then like
just asleep.
Dunk is like, I guess he'll come back with the horse at some point. Like at no point is Dunk like, maybe he took the horse.
Like, is Thunder gone forever? Like the most valuable thing that I own.
No, Egg will bring it back. It's okay. He has his driving permit. He could take the horse. That's fine.
Yeah. What did you think of this? Because I like, obviously this it's not in the books. You know, in the books, Egg is kind of positioned as like, he knows what he's doing and he's he's squired, or at least knows the job of a squire. And a bit interesting angle that they took, like where Egg is sort of taking the time to make sure he's ready to go for the lists or the quilts or whatever.
I liked it. So one thing, we're trapped in the books. We're trapped in Dunk's point of view. Not trapped in, but like that is the point of view in which we are told the story, right? So we don't get things like this. So I liked that creative liberty they took with it. There also was foreshadowing in that scene because Egg said like, I'll get a sword in his hand, like I'll get him a weapon, don't worry. But like, Horsey, you got to do stuff. And it's like, how are you going to get him a weapon? You know, like if you don't know who he is, it's like, what are you going to do? Like, where are you going to get a sword from? You know, but the whole episode had a foreshadowing up until the reveal at the end of the fact that like, hey, maybe you should be paying attention to the fact that like there's weird shit about Egg that doesn't fit in this circumstance.
Right.
I did also like that we had Egg explicitly talking to the horses because Dunk does that.
Yep.
And we get a lot of examples of things in the book where Egg is either doing actions or repeating words that Dunk does.
Sure.
And it's a little bit harder to show that on screen. I thought this was a good, like, subtle example of it. It wasn't like Egg was like, I'm fighting like you, sir. Do you get it? It's the same. It was just him doing something that the audience should understand is the same behavior as his teacher, because we've seen it. So I thought it was very effective, and it wasn't particularly long. And then that like one-eyed guy showed up, and I was like, is this Bloodraven? And I got
yeah, Robin Riesling. He is, I will say his appearance is in the Jousting, and not so much as like
in the woods.
Yeah. This encounter certainly does not happen. And I thought the introduction of this character was a bit interesting in that, one, we get a very violent representation of why he lost his eye and some characterization along with it, which I think might be, and again, but maybe foreshadowing that he has a larger part to play in the narrative than perhaps he does in the books, because he faces off, and again, this isn't like plot spoilers for the books, just to be clear, this is just like admin, but he faces Leo Tyrell in the Jousts in the books, and it's like they sort of note like, oh yeah, he has one eye and he lost it jousting when a splinter like took his eye. Like that's essentially how it's.
Can I just pause here for a moment for everybody, for people that don't listen to our podcast on the reg, which is totally fine. George R. R. Martin does like all kinds of symbolism throughout all of his texts with wooden objects, particularly like splinters, arrows, roots, that kind of thing, being like the roots of a weirwood tree. For example, like, you know, some guy who sits in a tree and has a root growing through his eye and he's magic. Do you remember that? You know, particularly like if you like, and like also losing an eye is like very symbolic in Martin's work as well, in that it like the people that losing an eye is like related to like the, oh my goodness, like the connection to like the greater knowledge of the universe kind of stuff. So like this guy's dialogue, like he refers to himself as we. Yeah. You know, like he kind of, he's clearly has some kind of at least interpreted magic about him. Like he thinks of himself as like a we.
Yeah. And at first, I think the way that, and I don't know if they were doing a bit of a like, do you remember the other show thing of, they almost seem to position him as like a Beric Dondarrion sort of character of like, he's a little like off the beaten path and a little like above it all sort of like, and the we initially feels like, are they doing some like Brotherhood Without Banners thing? Like, what are they like? Who is this guy? Right. And then it's revealed like that it's a knight who lost his eye and it's not some other thing. But his like presence feels a little bit spiritual in a certain way. And there is something with, George loves characters with a single eye that have access to more power or more knowledge or more whatever, you know, between Aemond and Beric Dondarrion and Robert Rice, like whatever, they're doing something
Aemond, Robert Rice, Bloodraven. There's so many. Obviously, there's so there's just like constantly every chance this man gets, he puts an arrow through somebody's eye, and I'm like, I get it, George. I get it.
Lord Bloodraven has 1,000 eyes and one.
1,000 eyes and two, according to David Dan.
And he's just kind of old.
Show? Remember that time he was very old?
He was just an old guy. So we have that interaction, and then Egg returns to camp, and Dunk is stitching his badge or patch.
He's sewing up his pants or something.
And we get sort of the first couple of glimpses of, because we've had this like Egg sort of self-starter Squire thing, but we get kind of the first glimpse of Dunk the mentor, and this is a dynamic that we talk about a lot on our main podcast for anyone who is interested in reading the Hedge Knight in a very, very close way. But this concept of mentorship, and sort of there's this moment where they're stitching, like he's teaching him how to sew.
So sweet.
And he gets the stitch right, and Dunk's reaction is like super excited of like, that's it, like, or something like that. And it was like that mentor relationship just like came through very strongly. And this is one of the themes that is like very present in the books, but it was very cool to see that sort of moment represented on screen in a scene that is like not in the books.
Yeah, and I think that they are able to display this kindness begets kindness kind of theme. But there was something interesting even before that when Egg first comes back. Dunk is like being really short with him.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, you need to do these things, whatever. And Egg's like, but what about breakfast? And Dunk's like, we're going to have hard salt beef. Like, don't you want hard salt beef? We all had PTSD flashbacks from last week's episode.
Like, no.
No, we don't need it again. We did it once. We understand. The dick was huge. But so Egg is like complaining, and Dunk threatens to hit him. Dunk is like, you'll get my fist in your face if you don't like do as you're told. We know that's how Dunk was raised as a squire because we've seen the flashbacks of Sir Arlen, and that's how Sir Arlen was. And so that's where Dunk's getting it from. But Dunk realizes in like 10 seconds that that was not a nice thing to say. And so he takes it back. He says, never mind that. And then the next scene we get is him teaching him how to sew. So, you know, Dunk is passing on the knowledge that he earned from Sir Arlen, but also course correcting. You know, he said, it ends with us, and I'm not going to continue the cycle of violence. And it's interesting to see that on screen. And I think it's just a lot of dynamics packed into that little interaction.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there was a lot going on. And in these additive scenes, I think they did add a lot, like, for those who are paying attention. I get, you know, in the like, because we also then get their little breakfast montage, because Dunk then ends up, even though he said they're going to eat hard salt beef, he actually goes in and buys the goose eggs, and they get like,
before we get the goose eggs, though, isn't it the little song that he sings?
Okay, I was trying to remember if it was before or after.
The song in the tree is first. So the song in the tree is first. Do you know what song this is based on?
No, wait, no.
Oh my God. Okay, so what happens in the show is that Egg is sitting in the tree singing the Seven Kingdoms version of the children's song that is like the same thing, where it's like each line ends in what should be a curse, but it starts the next line.
Yeah.
So you're like not technically cursing, and you're like 10 and you think this is the coolest thing ever. And oh my God, you know, the actual song is, it's like, Miss Lucy had a steamboat, the steamboat had a bell, Miss Lucy went to heaven and the steamboat went to hello operator, give me number 9, and if you disconnect me, I'll kick you in the behind the refrigerator. And it goes on for like 5 minutes, like, and he started singing, and I was like, what genius at HBO did this? Get them, and all of the money goes directly.
Who is writing that sort of song about the first Blackfire Rebellion, and the red grass field? Insane. I love that. It was incredible.
Level of nerddom required. I just want to shake the hand of whoever. I want to just like meet them and just say, I'm so proud of you. The depth of knowledge you need.
Truly. And I'm gonna like shamelessly cross promote here as well, because I've been appearing on a fellow podcast, The Wicked Witches of Westeros, and I know that a particular line in this song where they reference Maekar as the anvil, because it was the hammer and the anvil, and Maekar showed up and with his veiny throbbing Dornish levies of Dornish spearmen or whatever when it was supposed to be, and there is a dick joke that is in there. But yeah, it's just like that to me was one of those world building things that is like so easy to kind of gloss over and not really, you'd be like, the bald kid is singing in the tree or whatever, but if you like actually listen to what it is, it's like, one, very clever, and two, does a good job of telling the legitimate quick story of the Blackfire Rebellion, like if you're listening to it.
Yeah, and this show has been 3 episodes long, and they've already sung more songs than all of Game of Thrones sang.
True.
It's very not Tolkien. The Bear and the Maiden. Yeah, it's not the Bear and the Maiden Fair, and it's not that like one of the Hands of Gold song that they used in the wrong place in the bad show anyway. So that
and
song
it's not
very
Ed
specifically
Sheeran.
About, and it's not Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Well, he was the one singing the Hands of Gold song, which didn't make any sense because that was about Shay and Tyrion, and they were in the fucking middle of the woods. Anyway,
yeah,
loved it, fantastic. And that's when Egg tells Dunk, bro, you can't sign up today because you're not a fancy enough knight. So calm the fuck down. And Dunk is like, oh, thank God, let's go to IHOP. Let's go.
Yeah.
Go get some eggs.
Actually, let's eat. Yeah, so they go buy the fancy food, and we get another Dunk and Tenzel interaction where Dunk is awkward as fuck, and just like he does not know how to handle himself.
It's very cute. I love it.
Yeah. And Egg does like the classic little kid thing of like, ooh, like whatever. It's like, is this a universal thing? Like, is this across cultures of like when a kid sees somebody like flirting with somebody, they have to do that? Like,
yeah,
Dunk and Tenzel sitting in a tree.
Yeah.
An elm tree.
It was fantastic. We'll get there. I think is that next. First I just want to say they make these sandwiches that look so fucking good.
Yeah.
What the fuck was in that sandwich? So it was bread, egg. What was the meat?
I think it was like ham, maybe, like, or pork, maybe, like some kind of.
Yeah.
It looked like ham, and it did look good.
So Doug made breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah, the bread looked so.
Man, I'm sure George R. R. Martin was on set that day.
See, that's like, the thing is, I'm like, like, show me the damn food. No, but that was, yeah, those sandwiches look good, and it sort of reinforces what we were talking about of he's like, you're gonna eat hard salt beef and you're gonna like it or I'll punch you in the mouth or whatever. And what actually happens is he teaches them how to sew. They sing a song while he's whittling a stick, and then they go buy food. Like, they spend money to buy nicer food and eat well.
Get together and eat well.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, Dunk says the stuff that Arlen says sometimes, but his actual, like, what he actually does is connect and mentor and try to be, like, yeah, just a good, whatever, patron of his just squire.
A good adult to child.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, there's no reason there. I don't have to hit this kid to make him brush the horse. He'll brush the horse.
Maybe like if we eat a good breakfast, that will like do what I'm trying to do.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He's gentle parenting Egg through being a squire.
Dunk is gentle parenting. Yeah.
The first ever
millennial
Dunk.
Millennial Dunk is gentle parenting his young squire Egg. And this took us into the sort of reflection, I think, of Egg, of like, I'd quite like to be here. Is that
not
right?
Quite.
Or maybe we get a couple of jousts.
First we get, hey Dunk, do you want to make a deal? Okay, Dunk, follow me into the wooded area. We ran out of sets to film this on, so we're gonna walk into these woods.
Walk into the woods, please.
It's like, why are we at random woods with the Master of Games? But like, whatever, it's fine. And so basically, this is what's his name? I always forget. He's the Master of Games, isn't he? This guy?
Yeah, I don't know that they've actually named him.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway,
Plumber, I think, is his name in the.
It might be.
I might be making that up. But
anyway, he says it would be like, he's like, wow, you sure got a nice lens there. It would be so interesting if it went through Sir Arrow and you won, or Andro, sorry, Sir Andro, and you won that joust, and it was a great upset, and we all won a lot of money gambling. Dunk says, but I'm honorable. And the game master goes, whoa.
I didn't say it.
I'm just saying, I think that might be a good choice.
You just need to do the thing that we're at. Like, you do what you were planning on doing already, and just know that you're gonna win.
Right. Like, we're gonna make sure it works.
Right. I think it was interesting because at first I'm like, if this is the plan, why not just like set it up and Dunk is none the wiser, and then you win all the money and like it's fine. But I think the challenge here is, well, no pun intended, they need Dunk to challenge Andro specifically, because if Dunk is like, okay, I'm gonna fight Valar or whatever, like, not that he would, but if he goes rogue and picks some other guy, then it's like the plan is ruined.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing, and I was like, no, they need him to be on board. So he's got to
challenge the right guy.
Yeah.
Now, this is I think we're inbound saying that this is an addition. There is no scheme in the book. Like they don't kind of scheme with him. And I think I don't mind it. Like I don't know that it was like, I don't know that I'm thinking like, oh my God, this is like a master stroke or something like that. But I don't mind the addition of them trying to kind of tempt Dunk into this sort of dishonorable arrangement.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
So I also don't mind it. I wasn't like mad about it, and it didn't take too many minutes of my screen time, so it's fine. Two things. One, and we know this from the end of the episode because Dunk, well, I'll say it this way. I don't know that this scheme to fight Sir Andrew is ever going to go anywhere.
Right.
So that maybe we can revisit that in the future. But two, and this is something that I think is just a facet of the show, and we've talked about this. They're making Dunk a lot more immediately accepted by the lords and nobles and stuff than he is in the books, and that is a different tone. Like it's tonally different. That the Master of Games would go to this random guy, Sir Dunk the Tall, and be like, certainly you, who I've never seen joust or even ride a horse, can joust well enough to believably defeat Sir Andrew.
Sure.
You know, like it's a little main character energy, which like in the first novella, Dunk does not have. So again, it's just, but like we have already had that in episode 2, and we had that in episode 1 with the way people are treating him. Like it's, the fact of the matter is he is the main character, and I think we talked about this last week in the Forever Lost episode. That's so sad. It's harder in a visual medium when the camera is constantly tracking Dunk,
right?
To convey that he's not the main character, like to be like, oh well, he's lowly, other people are above him. To the watcher of the show, no, they aren't. He is on screen all the time. Like 75% of the shots are of him. Right. So I think that feeling that's present in the books is difficult, if not impossible, to replicate in the show.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't mind it. It wasn't bad.
Sure.
Did it add tension? Do you think it added tension?
I don't know that it did. I think like the thing that they were doing in episode 2 to add tension of Dunk is realizing how up against it he is. Like, because I think that's one of the things, like one of the main sources of tension we talked about when we read The Hedge Knight is like his realizing that there's only a very small amount of people, like everybody here has more practice, more reps or whatever, like at this than he does. He is the least experienced, he has no practical jousting experience, whatever. Like all of these guys have had way more practice than him and all this stuff. So I think like they did a good job of building that up last episode where he basically has a panic attack watching everybody joust. So there's all this like tension built. I don't think they needed to be like, hey, my man's going down in the 4th round or whatever, like the like approach or whatever. Like they didn't.
I wonder if it would have been more interesting if Dunk had discovered that other people were making jousts.
Sure.
Like
if it was like, wait, is that something that people do?
Yeah, or if he was like, wait, that's not honorable. It's like, yeah, bud, like. Like if he had discovered, if he had stumbled into like the game master doing that with other people, it would have taken the same amount of time screen wise, but
sure.
I don't think it would have. I think it would have been more interesting for him to deal with, especially considering what he sees then later with Arian Brightflame and the horse. It kind of goes into that like, but wait, aren't all knights honorable? Oh, yeah, maybe they aren't.
Yeah,
oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say it's not something that like I said, not like a game changer type storyline of like, oh my god, like they really switched it up and like made
this isn't Sansa.
Yeah, no, it's so I think it's like okay, like I don't mind it, and it isn't that additive to the overall tension of the story. Now, I'll be interested to see. I have to feel like it's gonna trigger something. Like there's got to be something, because there's this weird scene later in the episode where Dunk and the Master of Games like lock eyes at their little tent. And there's sort of this like disappointed look from the Master of Games. That can't be the payoff of that. So, like, it feels like there's got to be something they've got down the road.
I wonder if the payoff will be that Dunk doesn't do it, but somebody else does. Like Sir Andros still goes down, and like Dunk knows. Maybe then like Dunk knows like, oh, it was dishonorable, you know.
Because I'm trying to remember. I know in the book, and again, this isn't like plot spoilers for the book, but Andro and his brother both joust, I believe, like both of the Ashford kids or sons joust in the tourney. And there's like kind of a lot made of the fact that they really acquit themselves well. And even though they both get beat, because they start as champions, but then I think Lionel Baratheon beats one of them.
Yeah.
Somebody else beats another one. And it's one of those things where it's just talked about of like, oh, they broke a bunch of lances against these guys. And, you know, they didn't get like totally embarrassed, even though they're like teenagers fighting like experienced jousters. This one, they position, like they show Andro winning a joust. That's like one of the things they like make a big deal of that. And Dunk actually remembers it like in the moment with the Master of Games. And it's not like, oh, nobody expected this or whatever. You know, I think there's, because he was actually thinking of them in the books, if I remember right. He's kind of thinking like, of all these people, like that would be a good challenge. So yeah, it's an interesting change, but
this is a conversation that has also the dialogue is good. I mean, the substance of the scene, I'm like, but the dialogue's good. But this is where the Master of Games says like, you're sleeping under an adler tree or something, and Dunk's like, it's an elm.
Yeah.
and I'm like, Dunk, sweetie, the point, you're missing it.
Exactly. Like he's calling you poor, and it's also why. Now I do think that there's an on theme thing here where this is like someone connected to the nobility, even though he's not, you know, as much of a nobleman himself. Someone who's connected to the nobility being like, okay, we're really in a bind. We have a problem to solve. I know a poor person I can exploit.
Ah, of course. Get one of the small folk in here. This will be perfect. Excellent.
That's so where they are definitely ringing the classism bell, right? With the storyline of, hey, like now we are, hey, we're in financial trouble. Like, what should we do? Let's exploit a poor person.
That no one will bet on him, even though he's giant.
Yeah,
because he's poor. So come on.
Guy looks like shit.
Yeah, I mean,
even though he's 7 foot tall.
He has 1 foot for each of the gods.
Yeah, exactly.
So then we get into the real meat of it, because next is well, I guess first it's Egg thinking about life, right? And then it's horsey death time. Is this
party time? Is it party time with Lionel Baratheon?
No, horse first, and then we get more Lionel Baratheon, which we'll talk about. I don't know whose dick that man is sucking on that set, but he's getting so much screen time. That actor, good for him.
He's getting tons of screen time.
More screen time than any of the Targaryens.
Tons of screen time, and it's just getting gayer and gayer. Like it's really. I think what's funny is, well, and we'll talk more about it. But so we get horsey time first.
We get bad horsey time first. So bad horsey time starts with an announcer announcing, you know, the prince.
Yeah.
So they have one.
We get Aerion Brightflame's name said for the first time in the series, because up until this point, Dunk encountered short-haired Targaryen douche who mistook him for a stable boy, or stable hand, and we get this announcement that he's called Aerion Brightflame and that he is Maekar's son. So for those keeping score at home, of the two the two adult Targaryen princes we met last episode, Baelor and Maekar, the blonde one, Maekar, this is his oldest son.
Too many Targaryen boys.
Yeah. Too many. Lot of boys.
So then, and Arion, looks like he's going to challenge his cousin, but then doesn't, and challenges Sir Humphrey. Say his fucking. There's an announcer right there. I'm like, announcer, announce, tell the audience, they know.
I really thought it's funny because there were multiple moments where I was like, okay, the announcer's going to say it, or like the herald or whatever. Or Egg is about to do his I know every night.
Yeah.
Right.
That's Sir Humphrey. He's fantastic.
He's won 5 jousts today. Yeah. It's crazy that Arion's even taking him on or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it would have taken 5 seconds.
I know.
I do think the one thing that I will say is that I think, and I don't know if this is a test audience thing or in a showrunner thing or an editor thing or a producer thing, whatever. I do think that they're really, at least the sense that I'm getting as a external, a person just watching the show, the sense I'm getting is that they're concerned about people getting name fatigue.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they're trying to limit the number of names.
Which sucks because Humphrey deserves, cut somebody else.
But it's also
it's free dirty like that.
It's one of those things where it's you're no matter what you do, and Night of the Seven Kings will always be associated with the bad show. The bad show had 5,000 characters, a bunch of which you made up. Remember Carl fucking Tanner? Who was that? I'm still mad about it. I'm I think the thing about names is it can get confusing if you put a scene and there's 5 to 10 people and they all have names and we're expecting you to know. That's confusing. Sure. But if it's now we know this is Targaryen prince, and we just say, and he's challenging Sir Humphrey, and Sir Humphrey comes out. We don't, and I mean, then they later talk about Sir Humphrey, so they say his name later. Just say his name now too. Just put it together for me. So
yeah,
but I think I agree. I think they're worried.
Yeah,
because it's not for nothing when you're reading the book if you don't have any background in it. So I actually have convinced 2 of my coworkers to read this book. One of whom has read the main series, one who has never read anything A Song of Ice and Fire related. Mm-hmm. And the one who has no history in it is halfway through or so. And he really likes it. He's I really like Dunk. I really like Egg. I don't know what these Targaryens are. And sure. I'm that's fair.
You'll get there.
Let me show you the family tree. sit down. It is time.
All right. So Dany's the dreamer. So the the one thing before we get to
I'm fucking choke.
Right.
That's funny.
The one thing that I did want to say before we get into the actual analysis of what happens in this joust between Aerion Brightflame and Humphrey Harding is the costuming in this joust. 1,000 out of 100. Amazing. Mm-hmm. I love the horse armor on Aerion's horse. I love Aerion's armor. I love Humphrey's checkered shield and the shape of his the shape of his jousting shield and his all the armor, the red accents on his actual armor. I was oh my god, there is actual color on the costumes. I know
Somebody did it.
I know it's been multiple episodes, but this is the first time I think that we got more detailed looks at, because we got sort of the very quick shots of armor of the 5 jousts happening simultaneously in the last episode. This is the first sort of good looks that we got at these suits of armor, the horse armor, bridling, the of the heraldry and all this stuff, and that to me was just so good. The cape Zedekiah pointed out in the chat. Yes. The cape.
Well, I do have one critique of the armor, and it's the same critique I have from House of the Dragon, just because I am a cosplayer and I have seen people do fake armor as costume.
Sure.
Something about the black armor that the Targaryens wear, and it's the same is true for Daemon in House of the Dragon. To me, it just looks like Eva craft foam. And I know it's not. I know in my head, I'm these people have so much money. They are not using Eva craft.
They are smithing stuff.
And I understand that logically. But cosplayers who do the armoring with Eva craft foam do such a good job.
Sure.
That my brain is now broken. And I see real armor and I'm wow. Great Ava craft foam work. What did you paint it with?
And
can't get past that.
Eric asked in the chat, what do y'all think of Aerion's Shadow the Hedgehog look?
Around at the speed of sound.
That take is valid, correct, and I
loved it.
I love it. I think like because when you know the character of Aerion as like it's one of those things where he is the guy who shows up to the D&D table with his edgelord character, right? Like this
he's
like
wearing a cape to D&D, yeah.
Right. And it is the guy who thinks his character is all of these cool things, right? Yeah. Like he's a badass knight who can defeat anybody and blah blah blah. So they really gave him like, hey, what would the edgelord's armor look like? And if he had infinite resources, what would the edgelord's armor look like? And it's like, this is what it would look like. And his horse would have dragon horns, and his like, you know, like yes. It was just, yeah. I thought vibe wise it was cool. Feel like they could have gone slightly more snouty with the if you're gonna go that crazy with the helm,
yeah,
it could have gone a little more dragon snout. It having like sort of a human face is a little bit.
Did Damon have that? Damon House of the Dragon episode, or what did it be, 2?
Damon had like an insane like open face helm where it's like
yes, my idea the dragon wings.
My idea at this joust is I want to die.
But even Damon, I'm still like looking at a picture of Damon's armor now, and I'm sorry, it looks like Ava Craft foam, and I can't. It's not their fault.
It's
I can't
not
critique them. That's my brain.
But yeah, the flames, the like, and the colors on everything, and then I do think that Humphrey's armor specifically, like, just it looked legit. It had this like shine to it. Yeah, it had the red accents, and it was just yeah. And so visually, I would say visually a striking scene. We get the like, hey everybody, here's the bad guy.
And it was bad. I mean, it was good, but it was bad. Like it was good. It was bad for my eyes to see, but
yeah.
Well, okay, it was good for my eyes to see. It was bad for my soul to see, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, we get the horsey death, and I knew it was coming, and even so, it was awful. But at least I was like able to tell myself like a real horsey was not injured in this.
Right.
This was all CGI stuff. But yeah, so what's interesting is we get a little bit of the dialogue in the stands from Egg, where he's saying "kill him, kill him," and Duck is like, "What the fuck is my Squire?" So I'm like, "Who's my Squire? My Squire wants somebody to kill somebody? What the fuck is that?"
Which of these men does he want to die?
Yeah, you can just see Duncan. He's like that meme of the lady with the math, and he's just like, wait a minute, which one? What is happening? And then Dunk realizes the lance is too low. I do think in some of these instances, they're sort of relying on us to have read the books.
Yeah.
This one, and we'll talk later about the puppet scene. I think this could have used a little more dialogue.
Yeah.
Between them, particularly of Dunk saying like the lance, like he just said like he's holding it too low or something like that. But if he was like he's holding the lance too low, he has to raise the lance. He's going to hit the horse and then hit the horse. I think it would have been more effective.
Yeah. Even just the like his lance is too low, he'll hit the horse could have queued up like I do think they tried to preserve the shock of him actually striking the horse.
Yeah, but if you say he'll hit the horse right before he does, you still having the shock is still preserved.
I would say so too. I think that would have been helpful.
The other thing is I don't know that people who aren't familiar with jousting don't know that it's not okay to do that.
Yeah.
Like people might think that's that's like a strategy. Like audience members might think that.
Yeah, and I think it's probably not helpful either that in 2 out of 2 other George R.R. Martin adaptation shows, there's been some kind of joust shenanigans that have gone on to like varying degrees, where the Mountain obviously in season 1 of Game of Thrones, and then Daemon in season 1 of House of the Dragon do shenanigans. Yeah. I think Daemon's was portrayed as like bad form or whatever for like he takes out the horse's legs.
Yeah.
But it's not like, it's not immediately apparent that it's ill or against the rules.
Yeah, he doesn't get like disqualified or anything.
I do think the Arion, and it's interesting. So Eric was asking in the comments, and just, I think the interesting thing about this particular portrayal is that they show that not only is the crowd not happy about it, but the crowd is willing to do like violence about it.
Yeah.
Where they actually try to storm the tourney field. And I was curious what you thought of this, because there was an interesting dynamic here where Arion's struck by fruit or a rotten tomato or something.
Yeah, it was a drive-by fruiting.
Yeah. He was hit by at least 1% more rotten tomatoes than the Melania movie.
But gotcha. Get him.
But
political satire.
But this was like a weird. It was a bit of a weird moment in that, like, he is coming to, like, Arion's coming to the realization, or not coming to the realization. He knows exactly what he did, and he did it on purpose. But he gets hit with the tomato, and then all of these people are like storming the field, seemingly to get to him,
or to get to Sir Humphrey to help him, because Sir Humphrey was under the horse. I guess no one was helping Sir Humphrey. That's also
some
of the extras in the crowd were shouting like, help him, get him. There was a shot where that, like, you could sort of make that out.
Yeah.
I think it could have been both. So I liked it in conjunction with the Fossaway scene later, where Raymond Fossaway says no kings, and the puppet show at the end.
Raymond Fossaway goes a lot harder in the show than.
So if you take together the riot, Fossaway, and the puppet show, then you kind of get this sense that in this iteration of the universe, the small folk are unhappy with the Targaryen regime. Right. They don't like this administration that's in charge right now. And that makes the puppet show actually potentially propaganda, which in the books, it doesn't seem to be. In the books, it's like Arion's crazy for overreacting. But in the show, it's like, maybe he has a point, though. That was actually anti-Targaryen images. That he might actually have a point. So I think that's why they included it.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point, and it does show that there's some unrest.
Well, the other thing too is like people in like fucking Philadelphia riot in the street when their football team wins.
Right.
So like, imagine if their football team got a lance through the face. You know, like people sometimes overreact.
If the Philadelphia Eagle was lanced,
we'd lose Philadelphia at that point.
No, that is an interesting point. I think I do think there is an interesting dynamic where it's like they are showing that, you know, they're not whitewashing sort of Targaryen reputations with this, and there's like people, you know, there are a lot of people who feel a lot of different ways about the Targaryen royal family. And I think it does an interesting thing in terms of the story, because it does make Arion a little less like, like you said, is the puppet show a political statement? In which case, like, I'm not saying what he does is right. I'm just saying that it makes it it justifies it by like 10%, 20% more if it's like straight up treason or whatever. I'm not saying, for that society, I'm not saying it justifies it by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, it is an interesting sort of dynamic that emerges. And so the jousts are canceled on account of horse death. The way they shot the mercy killing of the horse, like, I know what happens because I've read the books. There was a brief moment where I was like, are they trying to leave it ambiguous whether this guy speared the horse or the guy?
It was a little ambiguous.
I was like, they didn't make it obvious that he speared the horse, like, because Humphrey Harding is also laying there, and the guy like plunges the thing, and I was like, it wasn't 100% clear who he was mercy killing.
Yeah, because we didn't know who that guy was either. He was, just extra with an axe.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, they reference Humphrey Hardy. But I had actually the same thought when I watched it.
Yeah, where I was like, they cut away a little quick from that.
I mean, I didn't want to see horsey death.
No, and I just thought there could have been maybe move the writhing horse like off of the guy's broken leg before you do the mercy killing. I don't know. Like, just get him out of there before you do that, and then it would be obvious who is being mercy killed. Unless that was part of what they were trying to do. I don't know. But to me, watching that scene, I was like, who are they killing? I don't know.
Can we not name him because we're going to kill him in the field?
Yeah. So yeah, jousts are canceled on account of the horse.
And we get very straight Lionel Baratheon singing.
We get the straightest possible Lionel Baratheon, shirtless, dancing on tables, and
with his antlers.
And yeah, with his antlers, pantomiming being fisted
by a woman. It's not gay. It's from a woman. Her name was Alice. It's definitely a song about a woman named Alice.
This was listen, like, I'm all for them like doing that, like doing stuff or whatever, like do your thing. The message of the scene felt like a little straightforward for what they were.
No, hold on. I have never been more well represented in media than when Egg says, hold on, let me do a deep analysis of this song for you.
Yeah.
And he says, hold on, let's go line by line and read this closely. And I was like, absolutely. It's me on screen. They put me in the show. And Dunk is everyone around me who's like, why are you talking about this? And Egg is just like, don't you think it's about hope? And Dunk's like, what?
Yeah.
So
no, that is a fair point. And I did like, it's one of those things where I think it does show that Egg, it like shows another side of Egg, which is this like thoughtful and analytical side of like what random orphan is analyzing like the lyrics of a song,
a drinking song. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like it means whatever. Even Dunk is like, they probably put that name in there because it's nice to write a song to. Like, it's easy to write a song with the name. Yeah.
And then Egg turned to him and said, should we start a podcast? So I think it was really meant to be foreshadowing for the end of the episode that like, hey, audience, have you noticed that Egg is not like, he's not like other girls? Look at him. Look at how analytical he is about this song.
And it does make me like, this particular scene does make me laugh because it's like the people who are like Lionel Baratheon like is not gay. It's just like, it's as if the showrunners were like, we're gonna tee this up and just make them wronger and wronger. Like, just keep beating them down. Like the troll.
The last shot of the show is just Lionel Baratheon making out with a man.
Yeah.
Like, it's not gay to make out with other men. Guys do that sometimes.
I don't know if this reference will land for anyone, but there is a not as well-known Lonely Island song called Spring Break. And it is like a classic, like sort of party anthem about spring break. And it's like about this like sort of Girls Gone Wild sort of vibe. And then, but it actually is about getting married to a man.
It's a great song.
I encourage anyone to look up Spring Break, the Lonely Island, just because the vibe, that is what Lionel Baratheon has going on here, where it's like, where it's like just going crazy about this spring break that he's on, but he's actually most concerned about being married to a man.
Yeah. Well, so in case you didn't get from that little scene that maybe something is different about Egg, they walk outside and meet the fortune / spoiler teller, who just tells us the ending of the whole story.
Okay, so yeah. Okay.
Again with this.
They keep doing this, and I thought we were safe. I thought we were safe in this show, and then the spoiler witch wanders into screen and is like, I'm going to tell you your exact fortune. And there's not going to be any ambiguity. I'm going to say exactly what is going to happen.
I wish she had just stopped at "You will be king." If she had
Exactly.
if she had said to Dunk, like, "You're going to be rich and famous," he was like, "Ha ha, lol." Tell him "You will be king," and then just full stop.
And even do the like Cersei, like you know, your joy will turn to ashes in your mouth or whatever, like that sort of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that
Give
sort
me
of
a
thing.
good Maggie the Frog. You know, that's what
Like,
we need.
give me something cryptic. Don't
Or
just come out and say like this is how the story ends.
my favorite Maggie, the part of the Maggie the Frog prophecy is actually to the friend Cersei's with, because the friend asks like, "Will I marry Jamie?" Because she had a crush on Jamie at the time, and
Yeah.
Maggie said, "No, the worms will have your maidenhead. Death is close. Can you smell her?" And Cersei's the one that pushes her down the well where she dies. Yeah. So it's like some of the best. It's like one of the best.
Oh, I know.
But no, the what did you call her? The witch, the spoiler witch?
The spoiler witch
comes out and says, "This is your life story." Where did this happen before? Was this House of the Dragon?
You're like, have you heard of Summerhall? Yeah, it's it is House of the Dragon.
Yeah, goodness. So yeah, they get past the spoiler witch.
Yeah, they do get past the spoiler witch. They have the awkward eye contact with the Master of Games, and then they run into Raymond Fossaway. So Raymond, who was, for those following along at home and who are maybe in name hell at the moment, Raymond Fossaway, the Squire who was getting the shit kicked out of him, who was nice to Dunk and invited him to Lionel Baratheon's after party in the first episode. He pops back up, and him and Dunk share a cup of cider because the Fossaways are apple people, and they have to remind you of that. Everything they only talk about apples. They only drink cider. There is no like they only do apple stuff. It's like those fall. It's like white girl Instagrams like who only do fall stuff and like pumpkin spice. Like this me? Is the Fossaway.
Yeah. I know. My name is Beelock. I'm a white woman, and I love the fall. It's my favorite season. Let me tell you about when I go sunflower picking in September. It's fantastic. Yeah, no, it's exactly that. I'm surprised Raymond Fossaway is not wearing Ugg boots and a little vest, you know.
And they get to talking, and Raymond's like a good, he's like a good down-to-earth sort of guy. Like him and Dunk have a very easygoing sort of rapport that Dunk does not enjoy with other characters, which I thought came across very well in this. And Dunk talks about the Arion incident, and Raymond loses his mind.
Raymond said, "No kings." Raymond said, "I have been on Twitter, and let me tell you, these Targaryens."
I'm not going to get political. 2 ciders later, let me tell you about these.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Eric. That's absolutely true. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because speaking like that would be treasonous. He calls them incestuous aliens.
That was crazy.
Which was wild. And just like really, I mean, like on point. Like he wasn't wrong. But to say it out loud, I mean, they are in private, and they're, Dunk is a small folk in comparison to Raymond. So it made me think immediately, like, oh, is this what the small folk are talking about? Yeah. When there aren't lords around, are they like these incestuous fuckers who marry their sisters are so weird? So I liked that a lot. It was a bit jarring, but I liked it.
Well, the one line, which I won't say on here because I definitely don't think I can, what Raymond says, like, it was actually Stefan who said that part.
Who said that? Yeah.
I was like,
he gave credit. He's like, I'm going to cite my source for that really good joke I just told.
Which I kind of liked because it was sort of the writers acknowledging that, like, this felt out of character. Like, this outburst feels out of character for Raymond. And he's definitely sort of activated by this, right? Like, this is a thing that he holds that does like get him going. And the certain level of crassness and like sort of cruelty in his language is born from the psycho we met in episode 1. Right. Where it's like, Yeah, that wasn't my line. Like I didn't write these bars.
This is me when I was 12 arguing with people in middle school about how the Iraq war was bad. Like that. This was me just repeating what my parents were saying about it.
Right. It's like that's what my cousin said. Like my older cousin said, like told me this. Yeah. The
so
but
that
this
happens.
interaction is happening while other stuff is happening.
Well, Egg is at the puppet show, and the puppet show is perfectly fine and definitely not anti-government propaganda.
So what I thought was interesting about this is like they show that Egg is at the puppet show. They show that Arion is also at the puppet show.
Again, full budget of the episode onto the puppet show. Full budget puppet show.
Big budget puppet.
They said 50% of the budget puppets. That's it. So the puppet show is of like the large dragon we've seen previously breathing fire onto Tanzel, who's playing the warrior at this point.
Yeah.
And then Tanzel cuts the head off the dragon and kills it. And in the big version, I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe that is a statement.
And it's now the one thing that I will say that it does have going for it that they could have now obviously in the book this distinction isn't necessarily made. Tanzel has a bit of an out here that she does not pull the ripcord on, which is the dragon is a black dragon.
It's a black fire. Okay.
Could you have said like, yeah, we killed the black dragon just like you guys, right? Like we all hate the black fires, So obviously I know that's not the point of the story or whatever, but I did think, I was like, I mean, if you're really in a pinch and something bad's about to happen, what I thought was weird about the way that this was particularly shot is she kills the dragon and turns around and sees Arion and immediately has guilty face of, oh no, like I don't.
They make eyes immediately, and she's like, "Oh no, he's seen my anti-government post. What's gonna happen now? Shit!" I made a TikTok video that said I don't like Trump. Oh no.
Now
I'm about to get demonetized permanently.
It's over. So what I thought was really cool about the way that this, the way that they put this all together in the show is that they did rip this off the page. What happens next? They rip off the page where they cut back to Dunk and Raymond chatting. They're just talking, whatever. And he's like, oh, I noticed like Maekar wasn't in the stands. And Raymond's like, yeah, probably because it's like shithead kids aren't around and like whatever, he's like talking about. And they did the thing from the book where he says like, well, Darren is a drunk and a sot and like he's worthless, and Arion is an asshole and vain and cruel, and his third son is like gonna go be a maester or some bullshit, and the youngest, and then sir, a wild egg appears. And he bursts into the and I love that they did the like that intro, because it's just like another, hey, if you haven't noticed anything yet, like we're about to show you. So like if you want to turn to your significant other now and be like, I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
Like this is your last chance, like for you to be a smarty pants before we tell you what's happening.
Absolutely.
But I did like that they did that one. Yeah.
I loved that. And then I literally was shouting at my TV when Dunk pulls up and he sees Arion break Tansel's finger and he like gets the rage face. I literally looked at my TV and I was like, fuck him up, fuck him up, fuck him up. And he did. He fucked him up so good. It was great.
He did. He hit him with the 1-2 and he got the kick in, which I think is like,
fuck that guy.
Yeah. Like, I think it's so key. And they show he is being restrained by 3 guys or 4 guys, and is not fully subdued. Like he is still able to get
the
kick
biggest
in.
Boy.
Zedekiah pointed out, Arion has a very weird tongue thing that he does in this, where he's bloodied, and the tongue that emerges was not, it was more, I don't know, reptilian than I was expecting.
I very fortunately did not notice the tongue, but I will upon a rewatch now that it's been highlighted for me.
It just had like a weird shape.
one spot where I think they needed a little bit more dialogue too, like at the joust. I think they're kind of relying on us having read the books, because it is unclear from what we have seen visually that the dragon show is potentially offensive to the Targaryens and a threat to their power. That through line is not really clear. I think it would have done really well here if the dialogue from Arianne had been more explicit. Because he just said she's a traitor. Like, why are you wasting your time on her? He could have just said, like, her puppet show shows them killing the, they killed the dragon on stage. No one kills the dragon. She's a traitor for doing that. Like, just like just a little bit more.
Yeah.
To just,
or even before the cut, I think it could have used, like, because they show guilty fate. Like, Tanzel, guilty face, oh no, is he going to cause a problem with this? But it's not really clear why. It's just like, oh, bad guy is here. What's bad guy doing here? Like, if I had never seen it, would I just be like, oh, the bad guy is here? Whereas I think they could have benefited from him being, like, saying something explicit about the fact that he is offended before we then get back to, oh, they are burning the place, and like and
it's just been like, so you think you can kill a dragon?
Yeah.
And he could have even been like a little
story
racist
where the
about
dragon loses.
Yeah, he could have just been like you little Dornish girl think you could kill you could kill a dragon, you know?
Yeah, something to that
like
effect.
Something
or
like
even
that,
say the dragon ought not lose then, right? Like, or your little story.
I didn't like the line "the dragon ought not lose" because it's weak. It's like it shouldn't lose, as opposed to like, I'm not allowing you to present it as losing. You know,
the dragon cannot lose or whatever.
Yeah. The dragon does not lose.
Yeah. Now I do like that, and I apologize because I don't have the actor's name at hand, but the actor portraying Arianne is doing a very good job, and I wish he had the locks to match, but he's channeling a lot of Viserys, like, in this performance as Arianne. Like, it evokes, like, for someone who knows Game of Thrones, it'll sort of immediately be, to me, I feel like it'll be sort of, I know the vibe of this sort of Targaryen because I know Harry Lloyd's Viserys from season 1, right? Like,
they couldn't get that wig and put it on this guy. Come on.
I know.
They used it for Rhaegar.
The dog shit wigs that they had, like, that was one of the better ones.
Right.
But no. So we get then the coup de grace of this episode, which is Dunk is restrained finally, and he's held down, and Arianne threatens him with the, you've loosened one of my teeth, so I think we'll start by knocking out all of yours. And they put his mouth towards the stage where they're about to, like, knock him into it, and some big violence is about to go down when Dunk's Squire intervenes. Turns out Egg holds some sway with the Targaryen men-at-arms. Why might that be?
That's so weird. What a weird thing.
And we get that moment of Arianne, well, Dunk saying "shut up," essentially.
Yeah, Dunk's like, you're gonna get yourself killed, you know. Yeah. It's still taking care of him, you know, still trying to keep him safe.
And Egg says, no, they won't. And then he actually calls, and I thought this was actually a very nice touch in the show that I don't think exists in the books, is Egg calls 2 of the guardsmen by name. And if that happens in the book, I don't remember it, but he calls, in the show, he called 2 of the Targaryen men-at-arms, like, by name.
He does in the books. I just found the passage. It's almost, the dialogue's almost exactly.
Okay.
Won't. If they do, they'll answer to my father and my uncle as well. Let go of him, I said. Wait, or what? You know me. Do as I say.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, Prince Arianne. If you didn't, little wretch, what happened to your hair? I cut it off, brother. I didn't want to look like you.
Yeah.
Fuck him up, Egg. Fuck him up.
Just mic drop.
Done.
Amazing. And so we learned that Egg is no mere squire, but instead a Targaryen prince of.
Could have foreseen this random kid from King's Landing. Who could have thought? I will say, I really liked the ending scene. I was a little confused by the very dramatic music and the cuts back around to everybody. A little odd.
Now, so I couldn't tell, like, there was a part of me that was like, oh, this is camp and is like they are doing like comedy, but I thought it was one of those where they're just trying, I guess they're trying to capture everybody's vibe headed into this sort of cliffhanger where nobody actually knows what happens now, right? Like in theory, watching the show, you're like, Dunk is in custody of some kind, but Egg has just revealed himself to be a prince, and we get the real villain turn of the villain. So it's like, but then it ends. So it's like, now what?
Think, I don't know if you ever heard this like tip for writing, but like when you're writing a chapter, they always say get in late and get out early. Sure. Like wherever you think the scene should start it later. And like however late you think you have to go in that scene, end it earlier. And that builds tension. I think it just would have been the same thing is true here. Like they just needed to end it. He needed to say, Arianne said, "What happened to your hair?" And then Egg says, "I cut it off, brother. I didn't want to look like you." And then just give me like a few, and just to zoom in on Egg, and like just cut to black.
Yeah.
Because the like going from face to face, I was like, that's a lot, my friends.
There was the way that it bounced, because I think it does 2 rounds.
It does. I think we get like a several Dunk.
I was thinking, like,
and the thing is, like, is Dunk even putting this together right now, or is he just like, is he still like slowly?
Why stop calling him that?
Yeah, why are you calling him brother? You have to call him your grace.
If you're gonna do 2, it's comedy rule of 3s. Like, do 1 more round, and then because then if they pushed it even further on each face, then it would be
it would just
be fun. But no, I do think that it was maybe a little bit, and I think this is more of a paranoia, and I'm trying to check in with my sister, who is watching the show as a one-time reader of the books, like of the novellas, but not a like heavy A Song of Ice and Fire reader, of like, is this making sense? Like are you are you on board with what's happening? And I think some of the choices that they're making are maybe a bit distracting from the sort where what you're talking about, where it's like if they just did the sort of like, and I hate to go to that song, but it's like the classic sort of Game of Thrones thing of like, they're kind of pushing in slowly, like zooming slowly on that character who just dropped the reveal. The song swells in the background, and then they end on the dong, like whatever, where it's just like very clear.
I wouldn't hate it if they did that. Yeah.
Like, this is the twist, this is the dramatic thing, and I'm leaving you with the dramatic thing. And they may have diluted it slightly by doing the cuts around. Like, I think they were going for the same sort of thing, and maybe it did like dilute it slightly. Overall, I thought like the handling of the scene was good, and I really did enjoy the details in here that that they included from the book, and the timing of things, and Dunk's just like blind rage. Like, I did love that it's like when he saw an innocent person getting harmed, he just went full like bloodlust and didn't care that it was a prince that he was.
He said Hulk smash. But one of my favorite lines actually in the book is around the time, is around this, and you were the one that pointed it out, was passive voice. One of Arianne's men tried to grab him and went flying. It was just like, it's just like, they're always like, don't use passive voice. And I'm like, George R. R. Martin used it very effectively.
Exactly. Sometimes passive voice is just the way you gotta do it.
Sometimes he went flying, because that happens.
Right? And I had nothing to do with it.
But I think that this ending scene would be clear to a show watcher, a show only watcher. And I think that's because it's basically word for word dialogue from the book that's well written. So, if you're gonna if you want it to be clear, just do it how the book does it. The book already makes it clear.
Well, what I am quite pleased with the episode. We have officially at an hour 20.
Oh shit.
But at an hour 20 we are at what, 4 times the length of the episode.
Yes.
So but that is, hey, I mean, for you guys know what you're getting into with the Pot of the Seven Kingdoms, and that is we read 10 pages at a time and do over an hour, sometimes 2, about sometimes 10 pages worth of story.
Yes.
30 minutes where, like, it's a damn miracle we don't do 3 hours. That's
honestly. Where do you think the next episode's going to end? Because we have 3 episodes left.
Yeah.
I know where the last one has to end.
Sure.
I'm wondering how we're going to fill 2 more.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. The timing of this is interesting. It makes me wonder if there's not if we're not getting some, like, backstory or something.
Yeah, we could. They could spend the next 2 episodes of him getting his champions.
They might do they might do a bit of a slowdown in this one. I do also have to remind myself that they are only half an hour, because in this one it's like this was basically 30 minutes, like, on the dot. Like, I started it at 10 and it ended at 10:30. It was like it was like broadcast television. I wonder if this will be spent with, it's like they'll get the sort of grappling with Dunk's identity, or with Egg's identity reveal. That'll be sort of like the beginning. Then there will be the whole what happens, and I think the introduction of the consequences for Dunk punching Arion will be the end of the next episode. I would say. Well, episode 5 he does his team building, and then episode 6 is the team building.
Well, the next week on shows the scene, or some scene, of the Targaryens talking to him about a trial by combat. Yeah. So that idea is brought up next episode, but where that, because they show scenes of him, like, starting to do that, but I don't know if they were just showing scenes from episode 5.
Right. Yeah, it's tough and it was tough to tell. I know they did a handful of things where it was like this season on the Seven Kingdoms, and it's like stuff from the whole season, which I have successfully, like, I'm not watching the promos because I'm like, they're just giving some, I know the story, like, it's not going to spoil the story, but how they do it, like, I don't even want to know how they do it. I want to, like, be surprised by how they do it. No, so me and my wife are, like, when we watch shows on streaming or whatever, whenever they do that sort of, like, next week on or whatever, we always will jokingly say, like, if we're the person without the remote, will tell the person with the remote no spoilies, of like, it's like no spoilies, like, that's so anyways, like, we are big on the, like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to, like, if it's next week on and I have access to that, then, like, I'm not going to watch the promo.
See, I have anxiety. I need to know right away. You need to tell me everything right now.
What I will say is House of the Dragon, I have a different approach, because I had such high anxiety about how that show was going that I was watching the promos because I was, like, ruminating about it. Whereas I think this one, I'm just kind of like, live and let live. Like, whatever happens, happens. And so far, so good, I guess, is the moral of the story. But
I do have a question for you before we wrap up. Okay. Do you think Tanzel will be in the rest of the season?
I think it's interesting. I think something, I don't know if she'll actually interact with Dunk. It might be that she's in, like, his dreams, memories, like.
See, I think this is going to be a show change. I haven't said, she wasn't shown the next week on, so I don't have spoilies about it.
Right. She like hangs around.
Yeah, but my guess is that she'll be in all the episodes.
Yeah.
That she'll stay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is an interesting one, because I think, like, they'll want to have some sort of, because the whole thing in the book, but it's, like, really hard to convey in a show, is that nope, that's it. Like, they leave, and, like,
I mean, I could see the puppet show being packed up, but like her just staying back.
Right.
You know?
No,
I think it would be.
I tend to agree with you.
It would be not wrong. Would it be weird for like a modern television show to remove the only kind of romance plot, like romance subplot?
It'd be abrupt too.
Yeah, I would like her to stay around. I wanted her to stay in the books.
Yeah.
But I understand it's not a romance story, so yeah.
One, it's one of those things where it's like George loves ghosts or whatever haunting the narrative. She doesn't die, just to be clear. But like, but she is just this like figure for Dunk where it's like nothing ever really happened. He had like 2 conversations with her and he literally walks his ass all the way to Dorne, like just to see if he could like maybe run into her.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the sort of thing where you're like, okay, well,
get you a guy who will walk to Dorne.
Exactly.
He might run into you
and not find you. So, but that tension is hard to convey on screen without being more explicit about it. Of like, this is someone that Dunk like is just gonna think about because it's kind of his first like real crush since he moved out of his parents' place, right? That's the
he matched on Tinder for the first time and does not know what to do.
So, but no, I tend to agree that I think they'll have to do something to keep that going.
Pops back up in episode 6. Like I feel like she's just gonna. I feel like she's not done yet.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know it is quite late, but Beelock, where can folks find you?
Allegedly still on TikTok, but I don't know if that platform is viable anymore.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm Beelock on there for now. I haven't been making a lot of content anyway because I've been busy, but I think when I get back to video content, they might make me move to YouTube Shorts. I think that might be the next best best thing. I do have a YouTube channel page called Barely Functional Bee. I primarily just post a podcast with my dad there. And in my TikTok bio, there's like a link to my Substack where I have my zombie sci-fi story posted, or the first 10 chapters of it. If you'd like to read it, that would be so cool. If you want to send me feedback, that'd be great. It is the very first draft, so she is trash, but it's all right. We got to start somewhere. And there's worms in case you want some of those.
There are lots of worms.
Where else can people find you?
Still on TikTok, allegedly, also. But yeah, I'm still posting over there. I am laughing because there was a period of time where I could reliably count on like basically one video a month was gonna get like 100-something thousand plus. I had a video the other day where I was like, oh man, this is like really blowing up. 8,000 views. That's
what happened? Did the billionaires break it? I don't understand.
They really nuked. I think I've been found out that they're like, hey, it looks like this guy's posting about Game of Thrones / A Song of Ice and Fire, but it seems like he's maybe making some sort of political statement.
They said, wait a minute, is that dragon you're slaying a political statement? Hold on.
Larry Ellison.
It was going to take your thumbs because those are the ones that type out onto the...
Yeah, exactly. Right. So yeah, mostly there, but I am, I think along with a handful of other folks, because there's been somewhat of an exodus or a migration like over to YouTube. I would say like it's gonna probably I'll follow at some point. It's way easier to record videos on my phone, like, and it's hard to take the time to like sit in front of YouTube Shorts. I could totally do. Like,
can you do that on your phone? I've never even tried.
You can. I would say the app is not quite as, and I know this is whatever. Well, what I'm used to on TikTok, maybe the new version of TikTok is not as good, but the the app of YouTube Shorts maybe not quite as good as the like internal recording for you or for TikTok. But yeah, Shorts I could definitely do. The algorithm on YouTube Shorts, I'm like, I have to learn it and like figure out how to like get videos to even whatever show up on it. But I think in general, like I do want to do more, long form stuff over here too. So, but that's been on the wish list for a while. So we'll see if it actually happens.
Yeah, same.
But yeah,
always. all we want to do is make content, and they keep making us go to work every day.
I know, right?
They make me go to court, and then I have to make arguments. And and I say, "Why are you asking me to do that?" They're like, "You literally are an attorney. You went to law school for this." I said, "Fuck,
damn,
damn. How the fuck did I get here? I didn't mean for this shit to happen." Me standing up in front of a judge, being like, "Judge, yes, he did test positive for drugs, but this was just marijuana. He used to do heroin." Real arguments I've made. Who cares about the devil's lettuce? This is an improvement if you think about it.
Why are we even here right now?
Judge, he's charged now with an attempted murder. He has a murder in his record. This is a de-escalation in criminal behavior.
This is a step down.
This is an attempt. He didn't even finish.
He didn't try that hard.
He knows how to murder, Judge. If he was going to murder,
he wanted.
Also, a real argument made in court.
Hey, if he wanted to do it, he would have. Well, yeah. If Arion wanted to kill that horse, then he damn well did, right?
Yeah, he damn well did. Yeah,
he meant to do it. Well, thank you guys all for hanging out. And this episode, in case whatever, if you're logging on and you're like, oh my god, I'm seeing that they're live, and I want to see this, and I missed the whole thing. Fear not, this episode will actually go up because I'm recording it locally, in a way that will actually preserve the episode, unlike the TikTok live. So, so this will also go up as an episode of the podcast, as most of them will go.
Do you want to also plug Wicked Witches of Westeros there? Because they're going to stream on YouTube or something as well, right?
Yes. So Wicked Witches of Westeros are going to be live tomorrow night. They go live at 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, on Monday nights. And it is likely that I will also be there. Again, so I've done the last two. Yeah. So so I will likely be on again if they'll have but yeah, so I will likely be over there, and it's a very fun group, and I'm very excited to joke about Makar's veiny throbbing whatever Dornish spearman.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right, everybody. Well, thanks. We'll be back next week. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Bye.
Bye.